I've learned something new recently that I think you could find useful, because I wish I was taught this as well at some point. There are informal ways of communication that pin age groups to numbers and the timing of actions to seemingly unrelated external events. So, in this method of communication, numbers have extra meaning. So 1 through 4, that's the age groups. And then 5 means death, 6 means sex or dopamine or drugs. 8 rhymes with hate, 10 means war, 21 means get a job, and it's not just numbers. Fruits have meaning, so like a strawberry means party, blueberry means blue balls, raspberry means raw or bullet. I've made a list of things. Alright, colors. Colors also have meaning. For example, green is associated with government because the grass is greener on the other side, so grass means like the laws. How could you know if this type of communication is being used? One way to tip off a person would be to say, I want to make a phone call. And if if the person doesn't warn the audience of it, I would consider that as gaslighting or lying about the intentions of the content. I've also noticed that sometimes people use the red, green, and blue in the background of videos to say that this method of communication is being used. So for example, I have a blue light. If I also had, like if this was red, and then I had like a green shirt or something, that would tip somebody off that I'm trying to use this method of communication. And also there's the speaker and the intended audience, people mess with that too. So here's an example. Imagine there are 4 people. You are person number 3. Person number 1 and number 2 are talking to each other about person 4. So from your perspective, those 2 people are talking about person 4. But in reality, the first 2 people, 1 and 2, they're actually talking about you. And pretending like they're not talking about you. Or another simple example would be just 2 people. So let's say I didn't shave today, and I have a roommate who looks at my beard or at my scruffy neck, and he says, "Oh, I forgot to shave today," even though he himself is clean shaven. So he called me himself. Or sometimes people use the word we or they. It's like a pronoun thing. So like for example, if back to the 4 people analogy, if I'm one of the first 2 people and I talk to my buddy and I say she has long hair, but really I'm talking about you if you're a guy and you didn't cut your hair recently. So I'm calling you a she, and I'm saying that you didn't take a haircut. Now I would consider that, the term that I would call that is called gaslighting. Now, what are the possible dangers of this? Or one of the experiences you could have with this is the person who's witnessing this type of communication without knowing about it might think that they're playing a single player game where from a religious point of view, it's like Adam and Eve. So I would be Eve in this analogy, and Adam would be all the people around me. All the people are a personality of a consciousness named Adam. So they're connected to his branch. So like if you take the Bible as a personalized message to just one person. So when it says that there's going to be an end time, it could also mean a personal journey that each person goes through, not just the end of the earth. What do you think? Have you heard of this communication? These types of communications? Did I miss something? I hope that one day people can figure out a way to teach this to everybody more formally. I have a hard time imagining that they'll teach this in school because the age groups, it could be used to normalize pedophilia because people are going to start saying their preferences. Oh, that reminds me, how can people express these numbers? These numbers don't have to be said out loud like words. They could be patterns in the backgrounds of videos, and if it's from on the right side of the speaker, then that's what the speaker condones. If it's on the left side, if the pattern is on the left side of the speaker, is what the speaker condemns. Similarly, what is on the bottom of the video or the picture is what they condone, and what's on the top is what they condemn. And these patterns can be colors, similar shapes, similar objects. It could be on the body, it could be bows, it could be buttons. I've seen these examples in movies, in school, with roommates, shopping. I've seen these methods of communication everywhere, but I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Have you?